Mad Max Fury Road is directed by George Miller, who directed the previous Mad Max trilogy over 30 years ago, and it stars Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, and Nicholas Hoult, and is kind of in a post-apocalyptic adventure, action, over-the-top, a little bit of a thriller, and it centers around Max Rokitansky, who's a former cop who kind of has a shaded past. That it's explored a little bit at the beginning of the movie, but if you've seen the other movies, it gives you plenty of detail. Keep in mind this is the 4th movie in this series, and you can almost think of Max as kind of a James Bond character. You know, he's played by different actors, Tom Hardy in this film with Mel Gibson in the previous 3, and those movies fill in a little bit of his backstory more. It's definitely an excellent revenge series, kind of a post-apocalyptic race war type saga, and overall I've seen the movies, I really like them, but this movie does justice to the originals in every single way. Charlize Theron's character is tasked with taking a group of people to kind of a promised land. She's taking them to an area to where they'll be safe from the character of Immortal Joe. Now, he's the ruler of this whole wasteland, and a lot of people look at him as almost a religious figure, you know, praying to him, and he's kind of an over-the-top kind of guy, you know, he's a larger-than-life character. He's kind of a protective guy, and Charlize Theron's character wants to get a group of people away into safety. Now, of course, Max is kind of tripped up in this, and I won't give too much away about this. I went into this movie knowing next to nothing about it, seeing the previous films, but wanting to just be fresh with this movie, and I can honestly say that's probably one of the better decisions I could have made with this movie. In a lot of ways, the story to this is a little bit of a cat and mouse thriller. There's a lot of chase scenes, a lot of action sequences, if you haven't already guessed that, but what I can not say enough is how well executed this movie is in terms of their action scenes, in terms of visuals, in terms of even score. The movie's soundtrack is incredible. When you combine a lot of just absolute chaos with vehicles, with people on bungee cords, there's a guy with a guitar that shoots flames out of the neck, with bungee cords and stuff. When you couple that with the beautiful, beautiful orchestral, just sweeping score and absolutely breathtaking wide-angle shots of all of this carnage unfolding, it left my jaw literally open. I caught myself with my jaw open. There's a chase sequence in the beginning of this movie to where I caught myself at the end of it actually trying to catch my breath. I hadn't noticed it, but I was holding my breath throughout this whole scene, and by the end of it, I was literally like trying to catch my breath. It was that impressive. Now, a lot of people who are on the fence about this movie may say that, oh, this is just kind of an eye candy movie. It's kind of a schlocky mess, no real emotional attachment with your characters. I cannot stress enough how false that is. Charlize Theron's character throughout the movie gives little bits and pieces of her backstory, and once you tie everything together towards the end of the movie, I was actually blown away with the depth this character had. Throughout the movie, we're shown that Max is not a superhero. In fact, he's just a survivalist. He's not a good guy, he's not a bad guy, and all he really wants to do is survive. He has survival skills in terms of hunting, but he's not really that great of a shooter. He's not some immortal hand-to-hand combat god. In fact, in a lot of scenes, he kind of gets his butt kicked. And that's something that I really liked. It showed a human side of this character when everything else is so over the top. You have albino dudes with their heads shaved and makeup and grease in 40-foot tall monster trucks with flamethrowers on them, and combining that with Max's character, I really liked seeing a little bit more of a human element to it, and showing that this guy is just that, he's a regular guy. Now, the action sequences in this movie are phenomenal. I cannot say enough about how great these scenes are filmed. There's really no shaky cam, and you know, those annoying things that happen in a lot of action movies these days, like Transformers, to where everything is just happening so fast and all these quick cuts and everything is blurry and you can't really see what's going on. I actually found this phenomenal. I found it really easy to watch. There was a lot of carnage and a lot of chaos going on, but like I said, when you have all the elements combined, it was almost pleasing to look at. There was nothing to where I was rolling my eyes and thinking like, great, this is just another wannabe cheesy action movie. I felt almost invested in this movie throughout the whole runtime. Now, another thing that I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about is the 3D aspect of this movie. I am not usually a fan of 3D. The showing I went to was in 3D and in a large format, and I was very pleasantly surprised. You could tell that they filmed this movie with 3D in mind. They wanted this to be as authentic and as real and kind of integrated as you can get without being a post-conversion to where they just want to make more money and a cash grab. You could tell that a lot of scenes were filmed with this in mind, and it immersed you into the movie. It made you feel like you were part of the action. The sound in this movie is absolutely incredible. The movie is filmed absolutely beautifully. The color scheme is kind of a orangey with a lot of contrasting blue skies, and I found that to be so nice to look at, and it just made me feel more immersed in the movie. Overall, I really can't say enough good things about this movie. I truly believe this is one of the best action movies, in my opinion, that I have ever seen in my life. I know for a fact this would be one of the best action movies, if not the best action movie of the past decade, but I just cannot say enough good things about this movie. It works so well on an emotional level, on a filmmaking aspect, on a story aspect. Everything is tied together so well that I honestly can't really think of many complaints about this movie. Some things do feel a little rushed, but considering the overall scheme of the movie, I find it a little more understandable and I'm more forgiving with those aspects. People come to these movies with one thing in mind. They want to see action, they want to see things explode, they want to see a visual spectacle, and this movie delivers that, and then some. I expected this movie to be kind of a run-of-the-mill action, you know, generic movie, and I was blown away by this. For that, overall, I would give this movie a 5 out of 5. I truly believe this movie will be a landmark movie to where people can look back, maybe even 30 years from now, and say that this movie was maybe a defining moment in the action genre. I truly believe that. As always, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this movie, give me a thumbs up, like the video, and if you have anything else to chime in, leave a comment down below, and thank you for watching.